I was doing some heavy-duty work in the bathroom and scrolling through my phone, which I normally do, and I came across a post from Alderman Andre Vasquez of the 40th Ward here in Chicago. Now, I have no problem with Andre, with the alderman. I comment on some of his stuff. We've had nice verbal intercourse, right? Socially on social media. We've gone back and forth. It's been respectful. I've got no problem. He works hard for his constituents. Okay. He posted something about somebody converting a 3-unit into a single-family home, and he had a comment about it. And here is his post. Go ahead, Benny.
Property. What was once a 3-flat is now a beautiful single-family home, often a 54.
Okay, I'm not trying to hate because this guy's trying to sell a property. This isn't the 40th Ward, but I'm going to articulate a concern. When you're taking these 2 to 3 flats and turning them into single-family homes, you're actually really affecting and impacting a neighborhood in a negative manner, because what it does is it inflates the property value for the whole block, which then raises the property taxes for the whole block, and then raises the rent for the whole block, making it less affordable for people. So the reason why you can't find affordable housing is because you're losing housing stock when you should be growing housing stock. What would be better would have been if the owner or looking to sell just rehabbed the 3 flats, created a new 3-flat, which still would have a place for someone to live, plus 2 other units, which actually help when it comes to paying off a mortgage or paying property taxes. The inability to do that lowers the housing stock and makes things less affordable.
Okay, in the real world, that makes absolutely no sense, right? On Earth 1, that makes no sense. Okay? So I respectfully said on Twitter, I said, or X, whatever it's called, I said, hey, I would like to invite you on the show to talk about this on Saturday, right? I think it'd be a great topic. I would love to, but I'm canvassing the ward, okay? That's another way of saying I want nothing to do with your radio show, but I'm canvassing the ward. You got a Cubs game, you got Aaron Warder show, all the stuff he's canvassing that we can't take 5 minutes out of his day to call into Home to Home Chicago, #1 radio show on the planet. So I said, I'll tell you what. I followed up a couple of times. I said, you can't take 5 minutes to set aside to call in. Radio silence. So I said, tell you what, I'll give you the questions. So I texted him 4 questions. Okay? What are you and other women doing or have done to encourage building of affordable homes in your ward and throughout the city? How many units have actually been built? ? Radio silence. Number 2. Homeowners, and this is more of a statement than anything, homeowners have been buying 2, 3, 4-unit properties and converting them into single-family homes before I got in the mortgage business over 25 years ago, because it is less expensive for builders to convert these properties into single-family homes instead of buying land and building new, especially here in the city with the permitting. Okay? 3, what incentives are you giving developers to encourage them not to convert multi-unit homes into single-family homes or condos and condoing them out? These are all fair, right? These are no gotcha questions. Last but not least, what are you and your fellow elected officials doing to develop the brownfields that take up more than 30% of the south and southeast side of Chicago that have been vacant for more than 30 years to redevelop, generate new jobs, taxes, revenues, and encourage more businesses to open within Chicago? It's easy to make a 90-second video, but not being happy about converting multifamily homes into single-family homes. It's easier to make those videos, but it's a little more challenging to come up with solutions. I've been inviting elected officials from the city and the county on my show and have this conversation, but everyone is either tied up canvassing or too busy doing administrative things in their ward. 312-981-7200, Alderman, right? So here's the challenge with the alderman's assumption of what's going on. Number 1, I will give you Steve Leahy's mom as an example, because we talked about it already on the show. She bought her 3-unit brick building in River North for $100,000 40 years ago. It's now worth over $1 million. You know why? Because she owns a 3-unit building in River North over by Portillo's. Okay? That's why. Okay, so you're going to tell this 70-some-year-old lady who's sitting on a very valuable asset, you know what, Mrs. Leahy? I think the right thing to do would be to convert those into 3 units and not sell it for $1 million. It's ridiculous. I'll give you a couple of more examples. Corner over here, Chicago, downtown Chicago, Michigan Avenue and Upper Wacker Drive. You know what used to be there? Fort Dearborn. You know how I know that? Because every time I go over there, there's a placard over there that said, this is where Fort Dearborn used to be. You know what's there now? A bridge going to the other side of the river. So under this logic, we should have a fort there because we need to have affordable housing for forts. Okay? Here's another example. You know the United Center on the west side of Chicago? You know where the United Center is with all the parking lots? You know what used to be there? Houses. You know what's there now? A 22,000 seat entertainment complex that has the Blackhawks and the Bulls and concerts, and they're taking up more space to build more parking lots. It's called development of areas. You know what else we got? Remember Arlington Park Racecourse? You know what recently happened there in case you've been living in a cave? The Chicago Bears bought that property, raised it, and are now going to be building their new stadium there. Okay? This is what happens. So, in all due respect, Alderman, we need to think bigger. Okay? You've got $1 million piece of property in that ward, whatever that guy built. Okay? It was a realtor or developer. I don't know what it was. His logic doesn't work. The math doesn't math. If you buy it for $1 million, okay, in the city of Chicago, you're going to be paying $20,000 to $30,000 in just real estate taxes alone. It's going to cost $75,000 in transfer taxes just to buy that property, $7.50 for every $1,000 of the purchase price of the flat. So when you start layering in closing costs, transfer tax, real estate tax, and the carrying cost of the mortgage, the only way to make it worth its while is to convert it into either a 3-unit condo, which you're going to sell the condos for 500 G's a pop, so that's $1.5 million, or you're going to turn it into a single-family residence that somebody could afford and turn that $1 million 3-unit that probably costs $1 million into a $2 to $3 million single-family house. It's called progress. And I'm going to give you one last example. Remember this lady, an old lady by the name of Mrs. O'Leary? Okay, remember the cow? Remember the Chicago fire? You know what's on that site right now? On Mrs. O'Leary's farm back in the day? There's a plaque out there too. The Chicago Fire Training Facility. Okay, so under the alderman's logic, we should have houses there. It's called, what's it called, Roy? I'm like all sweaty. It's called advancement, right? You can't keep a piece of property that's worth $1 million and say, hey, you know what? You shouldn't sell it for $1 million. The person that owns that property, you should really develop it into affordable housing. It doesn't work that way, Alderman. And you got an open seat here, respectfully. I'm not pounding on it. I think the guy does a lot of good for his ward. Okay, I'm just saying, welcome to today, right? Earth One. It doesn't work that way. Yes, Roy.
So, David, the guy's totally entitled to his opinion.
100%.
Okay,
and I respect it,
said,
disagree.
He's just stating his opinion. What bothers me is the fact that he is a politician, and sometimes politicians take action, zoning and taxes and everything that actually would make that person actually prohibit him from doing that. And that's the real problem to me. I'm not going to apologize. Just getting back to America, the Constitution, your right to property, things, and to have the government come in and say, no, you can't subdivide, or no, you can't,
or you shouldn't.
No, but like I say, they're entitled to their opinion, but not as a politician. They can't pass laws. It's very arrogant of our social leaders, government leaders, to tell us what to do with our private property.
And listen, Alderman, we're here for the next 2.5 hours. 312-981-7200. I even texted you the hotline number. You won't have to wait. I gave him the hotline number. Radio silent. And I like the guy. He does nice stuff, and he works hard for his ward. I just want to have the conversation. Anybody at County Hall? Tony Preckwinkle, you want to come down? I'll send one of those rickshaw things, you know what I mean, to pick you up and schlep you over here. It's less than a mile because I care.